programming, functions are like the Swiss Army knives of code. They allow you to neatly package a set of instructions that you can use over and over again without having to rewrite them each time. If you've dabbled in JavaScript, you've probably encountered built-in functions like console.log. But did you know that you can create your own functions too? So why do we need functions? Imagine you have a program where you want to display a welcome message multiple times. You could log the message once, write some other code, and log the message again. But that isn't very efficient. This is a perfect example of where you can use a function. Here's how it works. A function definition or declaration starts with a function keyword followed by the function's name. In this case, we'll name our function display welcome message. The name is followed by a set of parentheses. You can define parameters, essentially placeholders for values you'll use inside the function. After the parentheses come a set of curly braces. You put all the code you want to run whenever you call this function inside those braces. Inside our function, we'll move our console.log message. Wait, defining, calling, this all seems confusing. Let's break it down. Defining a function doesn't actually execute the code inside of it. Calling or invoking the function is what actually runs the code defined between the curly braces. You do this by typing its name, followed by a set of parentheses. Now if we run our code, we see that our welcome message is displayed. And if we call the function again, we'll see another welcome message. A good practice is to declare your functions before you call them. Yes, JavaScript allows you to call functions before you define them thanks to a concept called hoisting. But it's cleaner and easier to understand if you define them first. Earlier, we briefly mentioned function parameters. These are values that are passed into your function. For instance, if we wanted to display a custom welcome message to the user, which includes their name, we would define a name parameter between the parentheses. Then, inside our function, we can change the console.log to log welcome plus the name parameter. We pass the actual value to the function when it's called. Instead of calling a function with empty parentheses, if we have a parameter defined, we can now include an argument here that contains the value we want to pass to the function. If we run this function now, we see that it logs welcome fill. Functions can have multiple parameters too. Let's define a subtract function that takes two parameters separated by commas. Inside the function, we'll log a minus b. If we call our subtract function with 7 and 3, we'd see it logs 4. It's important to note that the order we pass the arguments in matters. If we call our function with 3 and 7, we see it logs -4. Additionally, if a function has parameters defined and we leave one empty, it automatically assigns the value undefined. So if we call subtract with only 3, we see the result is not a number. The most common way functions are used is to take in some value, process them, and return another value. To get data out of our functions, we use a return statement. In our subtract function, instead of a console log, we just change that to a return. Another way to do this is to declare a variable inside the function and return that. But let's just stick to the inline return statement for now. When a function returns, it essentially transforms into the result. For example, if we declare a difference variable, set it equal to our subtract function, and log it to the console, it equals 3, which is the value returned from the function. Let's look at a more practical example of how we can use functions. Imagine we're building a calculator program with some imaginary code above. We have these variables num1 and num2, which represent the numbers entered into the calculator, and a variable named person_chose_subtract. The way the logic could work is that if the person_chose_subtract is their operation, this variable would update to true. And if it's true, we call our subtract function, which updates the output variable. Our calculator's display function, defined somewhere else, would display the output variable to our calculator screen. And that's just scratching the surface of what you can do with functions in JavaScript. They're incredibly versatile and can make your code more organized, efficient, and easier to understand. So next time you find yourself writing the same code over and over again, think about creating a function for it. Your future self will thank you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, happy coding!